Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on this Monday morning. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor and here are the latest headlines. Prime Minister Modi addresses nation in his radio program Man Ki Baat, conveys wishes to Indian team for Rio Olympics, also focuses on free medical care to pregnant women, asks for suggestions for his Independence Day speech. Ahead of transgression, Chinese army carried out air sorties in Uttarakhand using high-class aircraft armed with SAR. Say reports, Chinese PLA aircrafts allegedly carried out 2 to 3 sorties earlier this year. Massive protest in Gujarat against flogging of a Dalit family. Dalits put a BJP government on notice. Protest march to reach Una on Independence Day. Community pledges not to lift animal carcasses in Gujarat. Teen and mother gang raped in Uttar Pradesh's Bulandshahr. Chief Minister suspends SSP and 6 others. 3 accused arrested. Manhunt launched to nab others involved in the shocking crime. And India in command in second test match at Sabina Park against West Indies. KL Rahul stamps his authority as India wrest control. Openers 158 stretches India's lead over host to 162. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Sunday urged people to suggest to him issues he can include in his Independence Day speech on 15th of August. Now, addressing the nation in his monthly radio address, Man Ki Baat, Prime Minister Modi said that he did not want people to think that only the Prime Minister spoke from the Red Fort. The Prime Minister also announced the Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Maitri Abhiyan that would ensure free checkups for pregnant women, and also conveyed his wishes to the Rio contingent.
Namaskar.
In his monthly radio address, Man Ki Baat on Sunday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi sought ideas from people about the issues he should focus on during his Independence Day speech. He said he does not want people to think that only the Prime Minister spoke from the Red Fort.
मैं आपको निमंत्रण देता हूं, आपके मन में जो विचार आते हो, जिसको लगता है कि आपके प्रतिनिधि के रूप में, आपके प्रधान सेवक के रूप में मुझे लाल किले से बात बतानी चाहिए, हम मुझे जरूर लिख करके भेजिए, सुझाव दीजिए, सलाह दीजिए, नया विचार दीजिए। मैं आपकी बात देशवासियों तक पहुंचाने का प्रयास करूंगा।
The Prime Minister also stressed on the importance of research and innovation, saying the government plans to earmark 10 crore rupees for innovation. He also pitched for technological solutions to the daily life problems faced by people in India.
नीति आयोग के द्वारा अटल इनोवेशन मिशन को बढ़ावा दिया जा रहा है। एक इरादा है कि इस एम के द्वारा, अटल इनोवेशन मिशन के द्वारा पूरे देश में एक इकोसिस्टम तैयार हो, इनोवेशन, एक्सपेरिमेंट, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, ये एक सिलसिला चले और उससे नए रोजगार की संभावनाएं भी बढ़ने वाली हैं।
He also expressed concern over pregnancy-related deaths and other complications, announcing that all government hospitals will provide free medical care to needy pregnant women across the country. He also called upon doctors to join in the government's mission.
मैंने तो गायनेकोलॉजिस्ट को खास कि क्या आप महीने में एक दिन 9 तारीख को गरीब माताओं के लिए मुफ्त में ये सेवा नहीं दे सकते हैं? क्या मेरे डॉक्टर भाई बहन एक साल में 12 दिन गरीबों के लिए इस काम के लिए नहीं लगा सकते हैं? पिछले दिनों मुझे कईयों ने चिट्ठियां लिखी हैं, हजारों ऐसे डॉक्टर हैं जिन्होंने मेरी बात को मान करके आगे बढ़ाया है। लेकिन भारत इतना बड़ा देश है, लाखों डॉक्टरों ने इस अभियान में जुड़ना चाहिए।
The Prime Minister also used the opportunity to convey his best wishes to the Indian contingent at the Rio Olympic Games 2016, scheduled to begin on the 5th of August. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, in the third reduction in a month, the petrol price was cut by 1.42 rupees per litre and diesel by 2.01 rupees per litre on Sunday. The price cut, exclusives of state levies, will vary from state to state. Now, according to Indian Oil Corp, Petrol will now cost 61.09 rupees a litre in Delhi as compared to 62.51 rupees, and diesel will cost 52.27 rupees per litre as against 54.28 rupees. Now, the price of petrol and diesel was last revised on 15th of July, in which the price of petrol was decreased by 2.25 rupees per litre, while the price of diesel was slashed by 0.42 rupees per litre.
अच्छा ही होगा ना सबके लिए, एक आम आदमी के लिए तो सबको ये अच्छा ही होगा, बढ़ता ही रहेगा तो सबका तो बुरा हालत ही होगा ना, अच्छा होगा तो कमेगा घटेगा सब कुछ।
₹1.25 तकरीबन पेट्रोल सस्ता हुआ है और ₹2 के आसपास डीजल सस्ता हुआ है, तो इससे जो पेट्रोल वाहन वाले हमारे तरह के लोग हैं तो उनके लिए भी आसान रहेगा, क्योंकि हम मिडिल क्लास लोग हैं तो पेट्रोल के सस्ता होने से हमारा खर्चा कुछ कम होगा। और मोर ओवर जो डीजल की ₹2 लीटर की कीमत कम हुई है तो उससे जो ट्रांसपोर्ट है, जो फल सब्जियाँ हैं और ट्रांसपोर्टेशन है उसको भी फ़र्क पड़ेगा, कुछ सस्ता होगा।
पेट्रोल ₹1 डीजल पे 42 में से सस्ता होगा, इससे काफ़ी फायदा लोगों को, हमें भी फायदा है, और डीजल ₹2 के लगभग आसपास सस्ता हो गया है और आम आदमी को ज़्यादा फायदा होगा।
News from Gujarat, where thousands of Dalit took out a massive rally in Sabarmati in Ahmedabad on Sunday to register their protest against the brutal thrashing of a Dalit youth in Una last month. The protesters demanded firm steps to curb the atrocities against them, and Dalit leaders asked the community members to take a pledge to stay away from their traditional work of disposing the dead cattle. The Dalit leaders also announced to organize a foot march from 5th of August from Ahmedabad to Una, where 4 Dalits were thrashed by cow vigilance for skinning a dead cow. Now, this was the first time that as many as 30 Dalit groups from across the state came together on one platform. The protesters also threatened to show their strength in the 2017 assembly polls if the atrocities against the community did not stop. Meanwhile, a 24-year-old man who drank poison to protest public flogging of Dalits died in hospital on Sunday. Yogendra had consumed acid mixed with pesticide on 19th of July, urging the statewide protests.
पूरे भारतवर्ष में बिखरी पड़ी हुई दलित शक्तियों को एक मंच पर आना होगा, सारी शक्तियों का संकलन करना होगा, तब जाके हम एक ऐसे दलित आंदोलन को जन्म दे पाएंगे कि आनंदीबेन की सरकार हो या कांग्रेस की सरकार हो, सारी सरकारों को हमारे सामने घुटने टेकने पड़ेंगे।
News from Jammu and Kashmir, where the curfew in Kashmir continues to affect normal life after the widespread violence that was sparked by the killing of militant Bhushan. According to police officials, curfew was lifted from most parts of the valley, but restrictions on assembly of 4 more people continues in Kashmir. Now, shops remained shut while roads remained largely deserted as most residents chose to stay indoors in Srinagar. However, curfew was reimposed after separatists announced a march in Kulgam town. At least 49 people were killed and more than 5,000 wounded, including security forces in the violence. More than 300 people suffered injuries because of pellet guns, including 171 with eye injuries, further fueling anger against the forces and the government. On to the other big story. Well, days after reports of Chinese troops entering Chamoli district in Uttarakhand, it has now emerged that ahead of its transgression, the Chinese People's Army had conducted a reconnaissance mission. Now, PTI reports say that the mission was carried out using high-class aircraft armed with the SAR or synthetic aperture radar, which provides broad area imaging at high resolutions. China's aircraft carried out 2 to 3 sorties earlier this year in the areas of Uttar Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Well, the aircraft flies at an altitude of above 40,000 feet that can go up to 60,000 feet to avoid detection by radars and can click pictures. It has an SAR which can provide high-resolution pictures even in inclement weather or in night time. Remember, earlier Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar had said that the act of Chinese troops entering the border district of Chamoli was transgression and not incursion. At least 20 to 25 Chinese troops had entered into the demilitarized area in Chamoli district in July, besides flying its helicopters in the Indian airspace for 5 minutes. An Indian civilian team was sent back by the army, who claimed it to be their land. And 3 prisoners, including 2 Saudi Arabian nationals, were killed in a prison fight in Manipur's Imphal on Saturday. Now, the deceased, identified as Yusuf and Abdul Salam, had completed their prison terms in 2014 and were awaiting deportation. Additional Director General of Police said that Yusuf and Abdus attacked an under-trial prisoner and allegedly killed him. On hearing about the incident, the others rushed to their cell and attacked them. He added that the cause of the fight was yet to be known. Now, the bodies of the deceased were shifted to Jawaharlal Nehru Institute of Medical Sciences for autopsy. Meanwhile, the Home Ministry has sought a report about the incident from the Manipur government, since Saudi Arabia is seeking information on the killing of 2 of its citizens.
2 Muslim people and 1 tribal were there. So in the night, the Muslim people, the 2 Saudi Arabian national, so they killed this boy. They killed this tribal boy. Then the other inmates in turn killed them. That is it.
And Minister of State for External Affairs V.K. Singh and M.J. Akbar will leave for India soon to negotiate with Saudi and Kuwaiti authorities on behalf of out-of-work Indians who have been rushed to the edge of starvation. Now, the Indian workers are facing a food crisis because they are unable to afford meals after being laid off from their jobs. Now, low oil prices have forced the Saudi government to slash spending since last year, putting heavy pressure on the finances of local construction firms who rely on state contracts. As a result, some companies have been struggling to pay foreign workers and have laid off tens of thousands, leaving many with no food, let alone for tickets home. A Minister of External Affairs on Saturday said that over 10,000 Indians in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait were facing a food crisis because of economic hardships. Sushma Swaraj's deputies, V.K. Singh and M.J. Akbar, would now take up the issue with the authorities in the 2 Middle Eastern countries, and the government is monitoring the situation closely. Sushma said that while the situation in Kuwait is manageable, matters are much worse in Saudi Arabia. And flood fury continues to wreak havoc across many parts of the country, with heavy rains leaving rivers above the danger mark and normal life getting disrupted. Now, the flood toll in Assam has risen to 31, with 2 more deaths being reported on Sunday. In Bihar, the flood toll stood at 26, with no fresh casualties being reported. More than 27 lakh people have been affected in 12 districts, with several rivers flowing above the danger mark at several places.
The flood situation in Assam remained critical on Sunday as acres of land continued to be submerged underwater. Floods triggered by heavy rains have killed at least 31 people in the state. Although rainfall had decreased as of Sunday, rivers continued to flow over the danger mark. The Brahmaputra River and its tributaries had breached its embankments, affecting nearly 37 lakh people in 3,300 villages in 28 districts of the state. Residents of northwestern Guwahati city said that no help had come from the government for them.
जब इलेक्शन का टाइम होगा तब सामने आ जाते हैं। अभी तो मुख छुपा के बैठा हुआ है, कोई नहीं अभी तक तो कोई भी नहीं आ रहा है।
The condition remains similar in neighboring Dibrugarh district, with residents leaving their homes to take shelter in higher lands.
हमारा परिस्थिति बहुत खराब है। देखिए बांध है और रास्ता सब डूब गया। बच्चा लोग स्कूल कॉलेज आना जाना बंद हो गया और 15 साल से रास्ता बना देगा बोल के हम लोग को बहुत वो किया था, मगर नहीं दिया। सरकार भी बदली किया, अभी सरकार क्या करेगा वो हमको मालूम नहीं है।
In Bihar, more than 27 lakh people have been affected in 12 districts. The flood toll stood at 26, with no fresh casualty reported. Rivers including Ghagra, Bagmati, Koshi and Mahananda are flowing above the danger mark at several places. The floods have also damaged crops in 3.39 lakh hectares of land.
डर क्या रहता है, पानी आता है, भसने का डर है, बच्चे हैं, छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं, कहाँ लेके जाऊँ, कैसे लेके जाऊँ। नाव है, नाव ऐसा है जिसमें पानी, नाव भी पानी बहते रहता है, नाव पानी भरा रहता है, उसमें भी डर होता है नाव पे भी जाने में।
While the national capital recorded scant rainfall, neighbouring Uttar Pradesh continued to receive heavy downpour, with many rivers including the Ganga and Sharda flowing near or above the danger mark, creating flood-like situation in several villages in the catchment areas. Meanwhile, the National Disaster Response Force team has claimed that over 10,000 people have been rescued so far from flood-affected parts of the country, including Assam and Bihar. 44 self-contained flood rescue teams have also been pre-positioned to assist the respective state administrations in rescue and relief work. They have also established medical camps at various areas of Assam and Bihar to provide medical care to those affected by the floods. Bureau Report, Raja Sabha Television.
Well, we'll slip into a very short break here. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome. I'm Amritanshu Rai and you're watching Constitutionally Yours.
Jammu and Kashmir is and continues to be an integral part of India.
The basis was to give a limited power to Government of India to govern us, and rest of the power was to be retained.
We have an issue here why Kashmir has 46 constituencies and Jammu and Ladakh only 41.
370 peculiar position for the application of Indian Constitution to the state of Jammu and Kashmir.
Join us as we try to understand contemporary issues related to the Constitution. Watch Constitutionally Yours on Rajya Sabha Television. Art arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervour dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colours of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha Television.
Gyan Chopper is the ancient version of Indian snakes and ladders. This intriguing game was popular among the old, the young, and the rulers as well. The chopper has its origin in the Jain philosophy. It tells the story of virtue, symbolized by the ladders, rewarded, while the vices shown by the snakes are punished. Each square, in turn, also narrates some message of wisdom.
Welcome back. Now, Uttar Pradesh police has claimed to have held 3 of the accused involved in the Bulandshahr gang rape case, where a mother-daughter duo were robbed and gang raped on National Highway 91 on Friday night. While 7 police officials have been suspended and a massive hunt is on to nab the others who were involved, UP government has come under severe attack over sliding law and order situation, especially in the run-up to the assembly polls. Massive hunt on in Uttar Pradesh to nab those who gang raped a woman and her teenage daughter near Bulandshahr. While 3 suspects were arrested on Sunday, police is frantically looking for 4 to 5 others who were involved in the crime. UP Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav has given an ultimatum to cops to crack the case and book offenders. The SHO and 6 others were suspended after the horrific crime came to light on Sunday. A 35-year-old woman and her teenage daughter were travelling from Noida to Shahjahanpur when they were allegedly dragged out of a car and allegedly raped by a group of 7 to 8 men early on Saturday morning.
इसमें 15 लोग जो है वो डिटेन किए गए हैं, उनसे पूछताछ चल रही है और वादी पक्ष द्वारा शिनाख्त उनसे कराई जा रही है और डिटेल में उनसे पूछताछ हो रही है, इंटरोगेशन चल रहा है.
A case of gang rape, robbery and dacoity has been registered against unknown persons, while 6 teams are conducting raids in the area. Uttar Pradesh DGP and Principal Secretary Home visited the area of crime and held closed-door meetings with district officials on Sunday. A 3-member team of National Commission for Women also inspected the scene of the crime and met the family of the victims. The incident has drawn widespread condemnation.
It's very unfortunate because a very young girl, she's just 13. She's just 13 and she's been involved in the उसके साथ ये घटना हुई है और उसकी मदर के साथ हुई है और आप अगर लड़की से मिलें तो आपको लग जाएगा कि वो बहुत बुरी हालत में है.
महिलाएं अपने परिवार के पुरुषों के साथ चल रही हैं, तब भी वो सुरक्षित नहीं है. 1.5 घंटे तक वारदात को दर्जन भर बदमाश अंजाम देते रहे और इलाके की पुलिस सोती रही. अपने आप में ये उत्तर प्रदेश की बिगड़ी हुई कानून व्यवस्था की ओर इशारा करता है. आज उत्तर प्रदेश में महिलाएं कहीं भी सुरक्षित नहीं हैं. अकेले तो सुरक्षित नहीं है, अपने परिवार के साथ भी सुरक्षित नहीं है.
The family from Noida was on its way to Shahjahanpur on Friday night when their car was waylaid near Dostpur village of Bulandshahr. The culprits took the family at gunpoint, dragged the women into a nearby field and gang-raped them. Later, they also took away money and jewelry from the victims and melted into darkness. The family remained stranded on the deserted stretch, their car stuck in the mud until Saturday morning when an FIR was lodged. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Well, the two-day orientation session for new Raja Sabha members concluded on Sunday. Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairperson PJ Kurian advised the new members of the upper house to display exemplary conduct and read the rule books carefully. Delivering his valedictory address, Kurian said that the members should make their action and words exemplary, which would become a part of the Indian parliamentary history forever. He also advised members to avoid written speeches, follow the allocated time, and also make appointed questions without repetition.
Keep in mind that our actions and words in the House will become a part of the Indian parliamentary history forever. So, it is imperative to leave a legacy which our future generation can justly be proud of.
And expelled AAP co-founders Yogendra Yadav and Prashant Bhushan will now launch a new political party on 2nd of October with a view to provide alternate politics. Swaraj Abhiyan leaders Yogendra Yadav and Prashant Bhushan announced that a 6-member committee has been set up to finalize the modalities before the announcement and hit out at the Aam Aadmi Party for having a supremo culture. Both the leaders, however, evaded questions on whether the new party will contest the upcoming assembly elections in Punjab. Yadav and Bhushan, remember, were sacked from Aam Aadmi Party in April last year for anti-party activities.
93% डेलीगेट्स में 433 में से 405 लोग जिन्होंने वोट दिया, उन्होंने कहा कि पार्टी बनानी चाहिए और अकॉर्डिंगली सम्मेलन में ये निर्णय किया गया है कि 2 अक्टूबर तक एक नए राजनीतिक दल का गठन होगा।
पार्टी इसलिए बनाना जरूरी है क्योंकि वैकल्पिक राजनीति का एक वाहन देश में खड़ा होना चाहिए जो कि देश को एक नई दिशा दे सके, जो आज जो पूरे आइडिया ऑफ इंडिया पर ही जो हमला हो रहा है उससे बचा सके और एक नई दिशा दे सके और एक नया विजन दिखा सके।
And Tripura entered the broad gauge railway map of the country on Sunday with Railway Minister Suresh Prabhu flagging off the Agartala-New Delhi Tripura Sundari Express connecting Bangladesh to Tripura. The Tripura Sundari Express will run once a week on Sundays and will reach New Delhi in 47 hours after travelling via Guwahati. Prabhu, along with his Bangladeshi counterpart Mujibul Haq, laid the foundation stone of the 15 kilometers long India-Bangladesh rail link in Agartala. The Indian government would bear the entire expenditure of the railway project.
We'll have a even detailed discussion about how much more can we do together to bring in these two friends even closer to one another to benefit from each other's connectivity. So this is part of a trans-Asian railway network, and I'm sure in the next few years' time we'll be able to connect more. In fact, we just discussed, we are also finding out how we can have a small little connectivity that is missing to bring this part of India connecting to directly to Chittagong.
News from Nepal. Well, with the expiry of a deadline given by President Bidya Devi Bhandari for the formation of new government based on consensus, the country is set to elect its new Prime Minister based on majority votes. The voting will be held in Parliament on Wednesday to elect the new Premier in the wake of second largest party, Communist Party of Nepal, deciding to sit in opposition. Well, the results of the election will be out on the same day. The Parliament will form a panel headed by Secretary General of the House to hold the elections and call for nomination from candidates on Tuesday. Now, according to the Constitution of Nepal, parties should make an effort to form a national consensus government, bringing on board at least the major parties in the House, and if that process fails, a new government will be installed based on majority votes. Some more international news now in World Wrap. The Taliban claimed responsibility for a truck bomb attack on a military and logistics services compound in Kabul early on Monday after a powerful explosion was heard all around the city. According to the security services officials, 4 heavily armed attackers were fighting on the site of the North Gate Hotel, a secure residential compound for the foreign military and civilian organizations. There was no immediate word on casualties from the Afghan authorities. The facility was attacked by militants 3 years ago as well. Two men have been placed under formal investigation over the murder of a priest in a church in France, including a cousin and one of the killers. The cousin of the attacker was arrested on suspicion of a terrorist association. The other accused was put under formal investigation for allegedly attempting to travel to Syria in the month of June. The development comes as Muslims across France attended Catholic Mass in a gesture of solidarity after the murder. One person was killed while 4 others have been hospitalized after 2 separate shooting incidents in the Texan city of Austin. According to the Austin police, both the crime scenes have been secured. A woman believed to be in her 20s was pronounced dead at the scene, while 3 other women in their 30s were taken to hospital with serious but not life-threatening injuries. In the second incident, only a few blocks from the first, shots were fired at a parking garage and a man in his 20s was subsequently hospitalized after what police said was an assault. The mother of a dead US Muslim soldier has hit back at presidential hopeful Donald Trump for questioning her silence during a speech by her husband. Now, Khazala Khan said that Trump was ignorant about Islam and that he did not know the meaning of the word sacrifice. Her husband, Khizr Khan, attacked the Republican nominee in an emotional speech at the Democratic convention on Thursday. The couple's son was killed by a car bomb in 2004 in Iraq at the age of 27. Let's get you some cricket news. An opener, Rahul, showed a lot of composure, hitting a career best of 158 runs as India reached a comfortable 358 for 5 on the second day of the second test at Sabina Park, versus West Indies. Now, India took complete control of the match against the West Indies. At stumps, India had consolidated their lead to a sizable 162 runs, despite only 232 runs being scored in the 88 overs bowlers in the day. Now, Ajinkya Rahane looked confident during his unbeaten knock of 42 in company of Riddhiman Saha. With the 3 days of play left, India has enough time to register another facile win over a below-par test outfit. K. Rahul certainly was the hero of the day as he scored his 3rd test century on foreign soil with the help of 15 boundaries and 3 huge sixes. It was a compact innings in which he played 303 balls. He had a partnership of 122 runs for the second wicket with Cheteshwar Pujara, who scored 46 runs off 159 balls. Rahul also had a 69-run stand with the skipper Virat Kohli, who also scored 44 runs off 90 balls. And more sporting action now in Sports Beat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi flagged off the Run for Rio event in Delhi on Sunday. Addressing the ceremony, Modi exuded confidence that the Indian athletes will not only clinch medals but will also win hearts with their conduct during the Games. India is sending its largest ever contingent of athletes to participate in the Games in Brazil. International Olympics Committee President Thomas Bach has defended the participation of Russian athletes at the Rio Games. Bach said that the partial sanctions against Russian athletes over the country's state-run doping system are preliminary. He also added that more measures will follow after the Olympics once the report commissioned by the World Anti-Doping Agency is completed. And world number 1 Novak Djokovic has won the Rogers Cup with a 2-set victory over Japan's Kei Nishikori. The latest victory was a 30th ATP World Tour Masters title for Djokovic, who also has 12 Grand Slam titles, including this year's French Open as well as the Australian Open. Well, that's all in this edition of news. Thanks so much for watching.